2002, he began investigating some of the glaring discrepancies of the official account and sharing with others in the nascent online research community. Cosmos participated in his first street action for 9/11 Truth on the first anniversary of the attacks, and shortly afterward co-founded the nation's first real-time activist group, the Northern California 9/11 Truth Alliance. In early 2003, Cosmos started a long-running public access television show that was one of the first to focus exclusively on 9/11 Truth. In February 2007, Cosmos issued the call to action on the 11th day of every month until justice. This autonomous grassroots campaign has spread around the world, as you know here, and inspired hundreds of actions for the cause of 9/11 Truth and Justice. The website truthaction.org was launched to provide a home base for this campaign. Please welcome Cosmos.
To be introduced by Janice Matthews, a wonderful person who's given so much to this cause and someone who I love too. It's awesome to be here. I'm so happy to be in Australia. I love Australia. I love Australians. I'm very happy to be here. And I want to say, before anything else, I have to say a few words about our organizer, John Bursill. John is such an amazing man, and over the past few years, he's become not only a really great ally in the fight for 9/11 Truth, but also a great friend. John's combination of raw enthusiasm and energy and positivity, combined with his dedication to really solid information and no BS and critical thinking, really, comes together into a combination that I don't like to call people leaders or anything like that, but I mean, he's a solid leader, and he's done so much for 9/11 Truth, not just in Australia, but around the world too. So I just want to thank John. His wonderful family, his wife Karen, who has shown so much hospitality to all of the speakers here while we're in Australia, a wonderful woman. Just thank you, Karen Bursill. I've been involved in the pursuit of 9/11 Truth for almost 8 years. January 2010 coming up, it will be 8 years. So I could probably stand here and talk to you all day about my experiences in the 9/11 Truth movement, everything that's happened, what I think about it. So it's probably going to be pretty wide open. I want to give you as real as possible of a communication about my experience, and hopefully that will be of some value to you and whoever's watching this on the video that we're making. First, I want to talk a little bit about why 9/11 Truth matters. As if that shouldn't be completely bloody obvious to anyone with a brain who's been alive in the last couple of decades. But apparently, it needs to be addressed. And I want to go through a bit of my history in the movement the past almost 8 years, and I'd like to also talk about the state of the movement currently, and then if there's time, if I can squeeze all that into the time they've allotted me, then we can do some questions and answers after that. 9/11, the truth about 9/11 has got to be probably the single most censored topic in the world. And I would challenge anyone to come up with a more aggressively censored topic. It's blacked out of the media from the top, from mainstream corporate news all the way down to independent, so-called independent alternative news weeklies everywhere that are owned, by big corporations or foundation funded. All kinds of alternative news sources, so-called, are blacking it out. If they cover the topic, it's usually a hit piece, and it's usually not very objective. But it's not just censored by these news outlets, it's also censored by opinion makers, people that a lot of people follow. Like, for instance, there's this guy, Noam Chomsky. I don't know if any of you have heard of him.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yeah, of course. And, he's well known for his great mind, his logic. He's a master debater. When it comes to 9/11, he throws logic right out, and he's known for some of his comments about 9/11, like, why does it matter? What difference does it make? Who cares if the perpetrators of 9/11 are different than the people we've been told committed that crime? Who cares? Okay, so I just want to address that. First of all, I care. I would imagine that people who have had their homes or neighborhoods blown up in the name of the people who were murdered on 9/11 care. Basically, what happened here is used as an excuse for this. People around the world being killed. And it's going on today, too. I mean, 3 days after Obama, the change that we can believe in is 3 days after he gets in office, he's blowing up people in Pakistan. So it's not like a George Bush thing, as I know all of you know that. But, it matters to me. I lost my Uncle Mickey on 9/11. It matters to other people who lost their relatives, their friends, their loved ones. And it matters to people who are being killed in the process. Basically, it's provided like an endless carte blanche for seemingly endless invasions, occupations, the slaughter of hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions, the destruction of civil liberties. Just on and on and on. So I can't really see how anyone who purports to be interested in justice in any way whatsoever could say, who cares? Or who could say, what does it matter? I wanted to give you the top 10 reasons why 9/11 truth matters, but that's a little gimmicky. But the thing is, it really does just go on and on and on, because it's providing excuse for endless abuses, destructions of our civil liberties, murder, etc. And then there's just the fact that usually when a murder takes place, there's usually a criminal investigation. If one person is killed, that's the protocol. If a bunch of people are killed, or even more so, a mass murder, nearly 3,000 people murdered in one day, and no criminal investigation, no serious investigation. But really what it's coming down to more and more for me recently is the integrity of human history. Aside from any immediate pursuit of justice for these crimes, are we going to, as a human race, are we going to abide by a lie as huge as 9/11? Are we going to let that rest? And I think, I think that's pretty serious. Just the integrity of our history as a human race. And that's kind of a long-term agenda. So I'm dedicated to providing information, encouraging people to do outreach and educate about this topic permanently for as long as it takes, because we need to have that. I think it's a sign of a real sickness to be able to abide by the kind of denial that is associated with 9/11. I was just reading, I saw a video recently, one of the things that they use 9/11 to excuse. This guy, Craig Murray, I think he was the British ambassador to Uzbekistan, talking about the CIA flying people into their jails there to be tortured in the most grisly ways. And of course, if you talk to people in the States, maybe here too, maybe anywhere, but especially in the States, that's what it comes back down to. Just about any kind of abuse gets excused through 9/11. Ultimately, well, they did this to us, so we can do whatever.